on Beyond 1130.
Honestly, the keys to a healthy relationship, I think the first and the initial key is be in a relationship with a motherfucker who like you back.
Start to understand that sex isn't everything, and women are kind of on the opposite end of that. Like we're not grown up to idolize sex, but we're grown up knowing that sex is powerful because the world teaches us that. Our moms let us know, like, you basically, if you want, if you got a vagina and you look good. So it's kind of weird to hear that we're on opposite ends, because the older you get, women are already at that point where sex is nice, especially if you know what you're doing. Because a lot of men out here thinking they got it, and over here just fucking slapping goddamn hips, and that's about it.
Damn, not hips.
But there's always a Mr. Willie around to take care of a child that's not his. So we can stop that narrative right now. Okay? The Mr. Willie taking you to your T-ball games and to your basketball games. Whenever the son's broken the house, he automatically comes and fix it and don't want no money from mom. He getting paid a different way.
And the truth. And things that like happen, things that I've seen through my experience of life, my partner, other females that are friends of mine, everything. So it's not like we're sitting here trying to say all the negativity, but we're definitely trying to let people know what really happens. Like,
right.
It's not all fairy tales, man. Like, stop thinking things are fairy tales. Like, you got to know the reality of what you're getting yourself into.
Like, sometimes you just got to assert your dominance in the situation and just let, because the thing that I notice is women just want to feel like they're protected and they're being loved.
I dropped on your lap because you was moving quickly when you was young. And that's kind of how, like, I learned my lessons and stuff like that or whatever. Like, I did a lot of quick movements, had my first kid, moved to Georgia, had to fucking follow her ass down here so I could be a part of my kid's life. And then I grew up in ways that I never thought I would. You know what I'm saying? Or as fast as I did, especially from how we were talking before it happened.
Every relationship is different. And that's why communication is so important, because you can communicate with your partner and you guys have an understanding. But if you go online and you listen to what these people online got to say about what you doing in your relationship, Harley, or what these people doing in their relationships, then they you the bad guy.
And when my oldest daughter first decided she wanted to date, just starting right there, I said, first of all, I hear them talking about it, but I'm old school, even though I'm not old enough to be as old school as I think I am. So, but my thing is, I told them, I said, I hear y'all talking, but just know nobody's coming by my house that I don't know and I haven't met.
The 1130 Podcast and 1130 Entertainment presents Beyond 1130.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome everyone to the season premiere, season 2 episode of the 1130 podcast, Beyond 1130, man. I'm excited. Beyond 1130, grown folks are talking, season premiere, episode 1. I'm excited, man. Season 2 is going down, man, for real. As you can just see the recap of season 1, man, I thought I'd bring back the great podcast show that I had, Beyond 1130. We'll be talking parenting, relationships, sex, current events, you name it, man, for real. Got a crew, got a panel that's going to be joining me here on Beyond 1130. As you see, some of them were on season 1, and they're going to be joining me back here on season 2, joining me on some couple of episodes, man. So it's going to be great. But first and foremost, we live here on the 1130 podcast, Twitch, Facebook page, and also on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Definitely hit that subscribe button down below. Like it, leave a comment, share it, do all that great stuff. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. All right, now that's out the way. I'm excited. We're going to get into it, man. It's Beyond 1130, man. I'm getting warm, man, because it's cold outside. It's about to snow again here on the East Coast, so it's getting warm. It's getting hot in here. But you guys, my first guest that's joining me here on Beyond 1130. He's my commission, bro, man. He's been joining me on all my shows, man. I was just on his show, The Last Laugh Challenge. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. My guy, the host of the Beeline Entertainment LLC, Brian B, man. What's going on with you, my guy?
What's goody, brother? Yo, listen, I'm excited too. Just like you said, man, it's been a hell of an opening to the year. We got new shows kicking off, new shows coming back. Commission,
Yes.
baby, we about to be back in the ring. I feel it, yo. What's good, bro?
Man, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Beyond
Oh, yeah.
11:30, a lot of shows coming back, man. The last
Yeah.
challenge was definitely awesome, man. So,
Yeah.
you know how we get down, man. For
Oh,
real.
yeah.
Also, I got some more guests that's joining me here on Beyond 11:30, man. None other than the host of Honestly Helen podcast, my girl, Helen. What's going on with ya?
Listen, Dre. First of all, my guy, you know I always like to give you your roses. This whole setup on 10, the elevation, the growth. It's gonna be a good season. Thank you for having me back. Brian, always a pleasure to see you, my guy.
Always.
You. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm already nervous. Don't make me even more nervous than I am.
Come on, Dre. This is what we do, bro.
Exactly. This is exactly what we do. I appreciate it once again, Helen. As well, you guys that's joining me here on this episode. You guys, she's returning guest. She was here talking that talk last season. I'm bringing back on my girl, Holly. What's going on with you?
First of all, let that be the last time you use that clip, because my locks, baby, they had just started, getting into their glow, and now we got a little shake on us. We gonna get us a new clip. I was like, oh my God, we were born. But I was on my babies. I had to get them a little pet backstage. I was like, girls, I'm cut up in the last year. Okay.
There you go.
Hey, that's what's up. How's everything?
Everything is great. I'm having a really great time and enjoying myself. Good day.
All right.
I thought it was Friday. That's how good of a Thursday I've ever had.
Okay. Yes. Good Thursday. Good day going on. Also, you guys will bring on another guest that's joining me. Man, we've been talking wrestling. We talked on the 11:30 podcast show, and he's joining me here on Beyond 11:30. My guy, Gator Live. What's going on, Gator?
Man, what the dealio is, bro. Hey, yo, hey, the locks are locking, by the way. I see you.
Right? Thank you.
There you go.
The first time I was here, I was like, ooh, they was young.
Get them confirmation.
They was young, but you got them trained up now. They looking a lot more fluffy. I see.
Yeah, you train up a child in the way they supposed to go.
Exactly. What's going on, everybody? Man, this Gator Beater, man. Did you see? I'm still chilling, still doing it. Got a new tag name, Gator Ward. Getting my fragrance channel thing going. But yeah, man, I am glad to be here, man. It's always a pleasure to be on the 11:30 podcast.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man.
For real.
I'm down. Clyde down. We all down. So
hey man, this is gonna be awesome, man. For real. Brian B, Helen, Gator, Harley, appreciate y'all joining me here on Beyond 11:30, man. We're gonna definitely get into some topics. Grown folks are talking parenting, relationships, sex, current events. You name it, though. But Harley just said one thing about children, though, and I think we're gonna get into our first topic of the evening, though. I'm gonna play this clip, and we're gonna get on. We're gonna go around the table and give everybody opinions, and we're gonna talk about it.
Oh, when a child can tell their parents no, you done lost control.
All right, buddy. When you finish with this round, I need you to get up and get ready for bed. All right. Oh, that wasn't a request. I was telling you, buddy, I need you to get ready for bed. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I understand you want to keep playing your game. I know you want a game. I love it. Yes. However, you have school in the morning, and I don't want your grades to suffer because you're falling asleep in class. So I'm going to give you to the end of this round. And if I have to come back and tell you to get up, you're not going to play your game tomorrow. You understand? But if you get up correctly, I will give you an extra 20 minutes to play your game tomorrow. Does that sound like a deal? All right, now don't have me come back in here because I'm going to turn off the game as well as not allow you to play tomorrow. All right, I'm going to set a timer over here. All right? Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not finna sit here and argue with no kid. That's just not in my realm of things I'm finna do. I'm the adult. I already have authority. I already have control. I already have power. The kids know that. They're going to obviously push my buttons to try to get around something. I know that. I don't care. I know how to establish boundaries in a way that still gets what I want and gets them what they want. But then I also know how to pull rank. But I'm not going to sit here and hit my child to make them do the things that I need them to do. That's not how things work. If my child says no, if any kid says no, I'm not going to hit them because they have feelings that are opposing mine. Where does that make sense? I wouldn't even do that to my spouse. I wouldn't do that to anybody. We have to recognize that children are different than us. They're not going to always be in 100% agreement with us, especially as they get older and start to develop their own personal identity. So when it comes down to any form of power struggle, it really is just our own insecurity and our own unwillingness to let go of the fact that our children are not attached to us and they're not subservient to us. And if you're trying to get your child to be subservient to you, that's slave mentality. You need to work that out in yourself. But when you negotiate with your child, you're teaching them so many things: effective communication, empathy, self-advocacy, all these things that are necessary for independent adults to have when they get older. If you were just yelling at your child and trying to command all of this authority and control, what do you think they're going to do when they get older? They'll either be super submissive to people in authority, or they're going to be the same way to other people and demand subservience from other people.
All right, all right, all right. Well, I want to go around and hear you guys' opinions on controlling your child, the things on about controlling your child, and what the gentleman was saying. Who
Yeah,
wants
I'm gonna
to
just hop in. I don't know everybody's situation.
Mhm.
I ain't got kids personally. I do have a niece and a nephew. So I have some understanding of interacting with kids and having to set boundaries in some way. I agree with him. I do also understand that children these days, because I've seen it in my niece and nephew, on 10. So I don't know how effective and how long lasting it is, but I hope if I'm ever blessed and I ever want to have kids, that I'm able to effectively communicate with him in the way that he expressed. I've actually been able to do some situation with my niece and my nephew. So I have experienced it, but again, I send their asses back home. So they might just respect me more because, listen, auntie gonna spoil you. If you want to piss me off, baby, we can go home. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I would like to think it's doable. Longevity.
No,
But
same.
wait, Harley,
I'm
looking
like
at me
you.
though, baby. I don't know.
Same as you. Like, I don't have kids, and I try to stay out of folks with kids' business because they be quick to remind me that I don't have kids. And so, but my nieces and nephews, and I'm a stepmom, and I have no intentions on ever having children. Like, I'm so grateful that my partner has had his children, and he's okay with the amount of children that he has. And should he ever wake up and decide that he wants to have more children, that is why I am polyamorous, because go have children, because I'm not doing that. But I think that it is possible to talk to children in that way. And I think that because there are either parents that are beating their children to a pulp, or there are parents that are like not even having this level of communication with their kids, that a lot of us are not being raised, we're just being born. And so,
Mhm.
if nobody's communicating with you, if you're not having mock conversations, and I can't expect you to come into the world and be ready to like regulate yourself in the classroom or have a relationship or have a stable friendship. So I think what he's doing is really transformational. I think a lot of us, because we do come from, slaves, a lot of us have to unlearn a slave mentality, because that's the only thing that our parents knew, and so that's the only thing that they taught us.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. Gator Brian.
Bruh, I had a flashback. When the kid told him no, like my mama would deliver some thunderous karate chops, right?
Not
You know,
thunderous.
and I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and I started to I started feeling it, right? Not saying that what the brother is doing is wrong, just saying that you don't necessarily have to lay hands on a child in order for them to get the message. The thing that I disagree with what he did is that he kind of went into like a negotiating mode,
Mhm.
while the way that I've done parenting before is, okay, so this is something I told you to do. You're not going to do it? Okay. You know your child. Hey, give me that phone. All right, cool. You don't got that phone for 2 weeks. Now I don't have to hit you. I don't have to argue with you. I ain't got to do nothing like that. You know, oh, you're still on the game, and I told you, oh, you don't want to go. Okay, hand me the game. All right, that's another week. You're not gonna have the game for a week because at the same time, while I understand, gentle parenting and being able to tell your child, okay, this is the reason why this is happening. Yes, do that, but also don't negotiate. Like, okay, if I do this, then I'll give you an extra 20 minutes tomorrow. Does that work? No. I mean, at some point, there has to be, yes, I agree with him saying boundaries, but I think that he was outlining and demonstrating boundaries in the wrong way in that scenario, right? Because when you're in a classroom and your child is acting up and doing all this kind of stuff, and the teacher is there and the teacher is trying to teach them, the teacher doesn't have time to sit there and negotiate a point with that child. That child is just gonna go either get rolled up, sit out of class, and that's detrimental to his education. So we have to start outlining, hey, this is what happens if you don't do certain things. You ain't gotta hit your child, you ain't gotta beat your child. Like I said, I had to play Matrix a couple times with my mom, but my mom was also the type of person who, before she did any of that, she told me exactly why I was doing something and what the consequences were beforehand. That was the last resort. And my hard-headed ass would sometimes push that boundary. But guess what? I stopped pushing that boundary after I, caught them licks. Not saying you have to do that, but just saying you have to put harder boundaries sometimes. And it can't always be a negotiation between you and the child, because there are sometimes when, as an adult, you're telling a child something because you know better. Now, you should explain that to them, but you know better and you know what they should be doing. So, I mean, that's the only problem I had with what he said. I mean, go, brother.
Before we get to Brian, do you think it's the times that we live into as well that nowadays we want to be more of having gentle parenting because of all the trauma that we dealt with growing up with the whippings and the abuse or so?
I think so. I think that a lot of times we have flashbacks. Like I had that flashback just now. We have those flashbacks to those things, and we don't want our children to go through those things that we go through. There's levels to it, right? Your job as a parent is to be a parent. Your job is not to be your kid's friend. Your job is to train them in the world so that they are ready for the world. And sometimes we forget that, and we try to, be friends with them and try to get on the same level as them. Understanding is cool, and I get that. And you want to try to understand your children, but you also don't want to get on the same level with them, because as it's your job to make sure that they are prepared for the world that's out there.
Okay, I dig it, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I ain't sitting around having a fucking 20-minute conversation with my kids every time they gotta do something. Yeah. Like Gator said, like literally, is the reason why I'm parent and your child. And now, like you said, Dre, I come from the getting your ass beat era as well, but I don't find that that's the most beneficial way to handle your kids. I definitely don't. I'm fucking strong as shit. I ain't over here hitting my kid every 5 minutes, breaking his life, and then I'm going to jail, and there's problems for me. You feel me? Like, especially, and I got shit to do. You know what I mean? That's another reason why I'm not arguing with them for an hour. I'm lucky enough to be in a household where there's two parental figures. My girl is all the way. My fiance is all the way. We're listen to them and hear them out and do this stuff, and I respect it because I understand the importance and what that character brings to the child and what it brings to the household and everything like that or whatever. But I'm sorry, my ass, I'm impatient and I don't do shit the right way all the time, and I'm more of the stand and deliver the message and you follow. And so that's why we have good balance. Now, I would probably have to redirect my methods or whatever if I was dealing with, just a single kind of parent style. But I am the rough one, bro. I'm the yo, why is this not clean? And before you get a chance to say, get this shit cleaned up right now. Get this shit done right now. That's
Brian,
me,
he
bro.
don't get enough time.
I ain't got no time, yo. I got 70 things I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure the house is up and running. I'm trying to make sure everything is orchestrated to to a proper level. And but I don't disrespect anybody for they choices in parenting. I really don't side with the stand there and put your hands on your knees and shit. And what do you think about what you did? Tell me. Come on, tell me. I don't got time for that shit. I don't think anybody got time for that shit. But I do understand that it may put your kid in a better place to be able to speak with you again in the future when some real shit happens. Now that's the challenge that I face, because if something does happen, your kid wants to tell you, they may find it a little difficult to talk to you because they're so used to you talking at them instead of with them. So I try to understand both sides, but I just know how the fuck I am. So I'm just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie though, Brian. You brought up a good point though, man. Like the dynamic of having a mother and father in the household, like having both. You know, you remember those times. You know, you see in movies where they would talk about, "I'm gonna tell your daddy." Oh, you know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. It. You're gonna have your good cop and your bad cop. You know, in that scenario, and I think that dynamic is lost a little bit. And I think that does kind of lend to more of that gentle parenting style, or the thought that it's more acceptable in that, because it's like, okay, well, there is no bad cop to kind of balance this thing out, right? So I have to try to negotiate with my child to make sure that they do the things that they need to do.
Because ain't nobody else there to help me carry
exactly.
Yeah. That's why I never judge, man. I try to just be as like on the fence, you know, speak my opinion of what works for me, and whatever works for somebody else, you know, it's their situation.
But I would like for us to get back to is like a village mindset, like somebody from up the street can check you, because then that gives parents real ass time to like chill, because your kid can be outside. Like, think about it. I grew up in a generation where we were outside for hours. My mom had time to clean the house. She had time to cook dinner, and anybody up the street could check me, and I knew that they could, so I was in line. And I feel like if we get back to a space where we are a village and we are accountable for each other, it gives parents a chance to feel like they're not on an island. Like right now, every last one of us is on an island. Like, I got to get for mine and not worry about yours. But what happens if like I can worry about yours and you can worry about mine, so we can take some of the load off of each other?
See, and I just want to touch on that real quick. You know, I wish that was a possibility as well. But on some real shit, you know, the times are showing us, you know, they've given us so much more information, whether it be internet, whether it be just word of mouth, the distribution of how information gets, you know, carried at this day and age. We understand that your neighbor can be your best friend, but he can also be your worst fucking enemy.
Right.
You kidnap your kid and have him in the basement for 60 months, and you don't even know, and he's right next door fucking helping you look for him and shit. That's the danger.
Ain't that crazy?
That's what's crazy.
The times that we live in, it's nuts. That's why I was just like, man, I don't know what it'll take, but it's like we definitely need. Nobody wins when a family feuds. Like we need each other, but we have gotten so disconnected from each other that we are enemies. You're right.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I think that it definitely has been more information. There's been the access to pretty much everything that drives people's fucking, you know, sexual crazes and whatever you want to call it. But people have the ability to kind of explore things in a way that they didn't 20 years ago. So it's like, you know, your little imagination was only carrying your ass so far, but now you can dive into realms that you never even fucking imagined. And then your fantasies is with giving you the ability to play shit out with different instructions, even to figure out how to get shit done successfully. Listen, man, we in a world where you have to. I saw 2 kids walking home today. I was driving there to fucking go, and there's a street by my house with woods and trees and a couple houses, and then you get to my house and you turn into the subdivision or whatever. And these kids was like kindergarten for the boy and like first grade for the girl, backpack bigger than them, and they walking on this fucking busy street, and I'm just watching like how confident are you in the world? Like, did you watch a documentary? Have you watched a horror movie in your life?
And just imagine that kid's 20 trying to date other 20-year-olds.
Bruh, it's unreal, yo. It's just unreal, man. The trust that people have in their children is I mean, we need to be guided, you know, like you said, like to have you wish you could have that village kind of raising the whole, you know, community. But at the end of the day, there's so many little monsters in that community. There's probably a lot of nice people but the monsters and the nice people look exactly alike. So you can't fucking find it out. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, yo.
The monsters look nicer than the actual nice people.
That's what's crazy.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
So it's different when they acting.
Yeah.
Just like Harley said, you know, a village, you know, back in the days, and you know, to the point, you know, Harley was saying, where you had your neighbor, you had your friend, your parents who were close friends with their friends, you know, if they lived in the neighborhood, you can go over their house and you know they could tell you sort of what to do when you're acting up and check you in a way, you know. But now it's like some parents, you know, I don't know, along the way it was like, well, don't hit my son and don't tell him what to do and don't do this. And it's like, well, you got a bad motherfucker right there. You know, like, you know, so somebody need to be putting in the line or somebody, you know.
Yeah, and not just neighbors, man. Like
boundaries.
Yeah, not just neighbors, man. Like your teachers used to be able to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, now I know so many people who are educators, man, and one of the biggest struggles that they have now is having to deal with the fact that parents now are not accepting of anything negative said about their children.
Baby,
You know, their children.
6 years. I've been gone for 3 years, and I will never step foot in the classroom to do anything but do a crafting lesson. Never again.
See, look, I was just real fast. I was just literally talking about that. I was just literally talking about that with my fiance, and just she was mentioning how teachers, you know, because we were talking about, you know, homeschooling or put little man in school, and she was just like, some of these teachers don't care, and I was like, I think it's I think it's the parents in a way that don't care, because you can have this student who or this child to this parent, and you know the parent just think he or she doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So when the parent comes, you know, teacher comes to the parent and tell the parent, yo, your kid is acting up, he's not listening, he's not there, and she come off defensive. Or even when the parent is not there, and you know, to the fact, let's say the student said, yo, mom, dad, the teacher hit me, you know, and in actuality, the teacher didn't hit the student, so the student just made it all up, and of course the parent is going to side with the kid regardless of whatever he said or whatever he did.
I popped a few of them. I told him, I wouldn't, baby. I don't know. I just been a country girl at heart, as if I wasn't born and raised in Chicago. I used to take kids home by their collar to their mama. Like I said, I was born in a village, so I didn't understand the individualized mindset until I actually started teaching, and I didn't get cussed out by somebody's mama because I'm bringing you home by your collar, so your mama know. Like let's talk about this. Let's talk about our kid. And I had mama tell me like, nah.
Yeah, it's difficult.
How did you feel though? How did you feel?
You know what? I felt understood. I said, "You right. That's your baby." I would never in my life argue with a person who went through labor to have a kid.
Yeah.
If you don't want me to have this type of relationship with your kid, but I got him out of my class because that's the only relationship I know how to have with kids.
Yeah, and that's your right. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in a class and the kid's disrupting the class, hey, get the fuck out. That's just that easy. You know, there's nothing else you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I do agree with you, Dre, like you said, with the parents who don't take any kind of responsibility to steer their kids in any other direction. They go to school and they fuck up the whole situation for everybody there, including the teachers. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Just like we said, it's a different world, man. You know, these teachers in here, fucking students, it's the thing is crazy. Is like one thing can't be solved to solve the whole fucking problem. It's multiple problems.
What if all this shit was happening before? We just got social media now.
Definitely was.
Like I don't know.
Definitely was.
Aware of it now.
That's why I said the thing about social media being like pretty much the tool that has delivered so much more influence, direction, and even fucking just new age methods or whatever at this point. That's what I feel. I feel like
it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's a good thing if you're a kid that's in the middle of Chicago that like loves bands from Ukraine, and now you can talk at the touch of your finger with other kids from Ukraine, and you don't feel like an outsider anymore, right? So it's a great thing, but then it's also as scary as you mentioned, Brian. So it's just like with everything comes that duality. I think that's how we're able to enjoy the good. There has to have be some bad to balance out the scale, but I love that we're able to at least have conversations about it. Because if the kids are listening to this is the good, this is the bad. That was how my house was. My mom never hid alcohol from us, any type of substance. She would say, this is what happens when you do this. This is what happens when you do this. Now, whatever you choose is what you choose. I would prefer for you to do it here. I just got to know. My mom is my best friend. That is my homie. There is nothing in this world that I can't tell her. And I've always said that if I ever were blessed to have children, that was what I would want as well. Because like, you feel comfortable. And then at that point, I wasn't racing anything. I wasn't fast. I didn't need to be.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely agree. I wish that there was a way that we can have more people involved in children's lives, successfully, not, jacking them up even more. But the fact is, it's just no way we can trust it, man. You see the damn, for people who have kids, you watch the damn videos of like the daycare and stuff like that. You see the fucking people getting frustrated with the kids, shaking them and smack. Listen, bro, like, come on. Like, I'll go to jail for life. I could never. Yeah, you never seen the videos of people?
No.
I try not to watch them because they jack me up, man. Because my kids, we trying to homeschool my daughter now. Like, my 2 13-year-olds, they go to school. I teach them. They box, all this shit, everything. But my baby, I can't send my daughter to school. It'll be one report. My ass, I'm in jail for the rest of my life. I know it too.
You know what though? I will say this. It's one of those scenarios where you wonder how often it happens. I remember when I was working customer service. I was working for Sprint back in the day, and we used to sit around work and be like, "Dang, everybody phone jacked up. Everybody got da 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 da." But the reason why we felt that way was because we were only dealing with like the 6% that were having issues. But those are the people that we were seeing every day.
Yeah.
That were, So I wonder, is it so rampant and widespread, or is it just that we are seeing these things right now, and because those are the most I wouldn't say popular, but because those are the most inflammatory images, we see those more, and it kind of guides our direction in what we feel all of these people are. Like, if we looked at the police right now and we said, okay, well, all police are evil, all police are doing this, all police are doing that, it may only be 10% of those, those people who are bad actors. But we would, just looking at it from the outside, and because of what we're being influenced to be, we say all, and, it's almost like when they talk about, all black men are this or all black women are that. It's because we see these certain images, and those are the images we gravitate to because they're the most inflammatory. We have an opinion of all of these things being this way, when in actuality, it's just a small number. That's the only caveat I have with that, is that while I am very guarded about my child's safety in school, and we want to make sure, and I talk to my child's teachers every year, and we go over his lesson plans and everything because he's autistic. You want to look back and you say, okay, I see how these videos are online of these teachers treating these autistic kids, and it can either like ramp up the fear in me, or just make me more diligent to make sure that that's not happening with my child. Exactly. And I just have to side on the air of diligence and, thinking that it's not happening with my child. Now, if something does happen, then I'll get to be the one throwing those thunderous karate chops.
Yeah, for sure.
Karate chop.
For real. Yo, just one more thing. I don't want to kill the thing with it, but like Gator was saying, like I feel the exact same way. Like, in how much does influence affect, your way of thinking? Are we just being guided by negative imagery? Are we just focusing too much on the negative? I literally, sit back and think about all the conversations that I have with so many different people, from the podcast, from just meeting people in the street, and how many people have been victim of like sexual abuse and shit. And I always go to this here because it's so crazy, from women to men. I mean, you hear a lot. I hear personally because, I'm I like the opposite sex, so I hear more women's stories than I hear men's stories. But I know that the men's stories are out there as well. So it's, for me, it's the knowledge of knowing that this stuff is capable, and not only capable, but it's pretty up there. It's not like it's a small percentage.
Yeah.
I would give it more to the majority that people have the ability, at least, to do damage and shit that'll affect your kids. So that's why when I'm faced with people who are hitting me with the, oh, you homeschool, and like, oh, do you know what that will do? And yeah, I definitely do. I definitely know the challenges that come with what I'm facing. But do you understand that I have the ability to do that? So with that, I want to make sure I'm taking advantage of that situation because I can. And I get that there's single parents out there who has to face facts, and they have to just accept whatever happens in a child's life and pray for the best and try their best to steer it and teach and do everything they need to do. But it's just like, it's such a disadvantage when nobody has any other option but just to trust the world, and the society around your children, man. It sucks.
Oh yeah.
You're right about that. I like that. I dig everybody's point, man. Here on this topic for real. But back to the initial part of the video and what Gator was saying, negotiating. I if I came out my mouth negotiating or just saying no to my mother, man, I probably would got slapped back into last week or something like that. So I just knowing just how it was, growing up, growing up, if my mother told me to do something, you did it, and that was sort of it. But I know, yes, it is a different time that we live in, and when everyone is speaking about their trauma and everyone talking about mental health and everything like that. So, and which is good, in certain ways and every way to them. But I just think like I said, we just live in a different age, and everyone just got their own way of parenting. I don't think is no wrong or right way.
I feel like most people are trying their hardest, man, to raise their babies, bro. Like most people, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. A lot of people just do it the best way they know how. That's why it's so important, man, to really like take account of how you parent your child, because 9 times out of 10, the parenting style that you're using is going to be the parenting style that they use with their kids. So the way that you react to things with your child right now is the way that they will react with theirs. And it's a generational thing. So it's always good to try to gain as much knowledge that you can about parenting and to be observant how other parents do, successful parents, do things with their kids, so it's always good.
For sure.
Hey man, I dig it. I definitely dig it. All right, you guys. We're gonna move on to our next topic here on the show, you guys. I'm gonna play a clip. If you guys want to get some water or something to drink, some popcorn, come back. But I'm gonna play this clip, and we're gonna give all our opinions on our next topic right here.
If I'm going 50-50 with my woman, it's hard, brother. You sitting up here, your nice house, your nice jewelry, nice cars. Oh yeah, man, you gotta do 100%. How? How, brother? If I'm making $14 an hour, what you expect? You still on there. Oh yeah, man, 100%. You're not a man. You're not a man. How? I'm still working. I'm still providing, right? So what makes me not a man? Because I'm going 50-50 with my woman.
And brother, I applaud you. Because I understand that it is hard out here, but we are men, so we have to go harder. I'm not saying or trying to speak down to you, my brother, by any means necessary. I'm not. But I want you to be reminded of something that our fathers didn't teach us, that we must go hard and that we shouldn't get into a relationship with a woman until we have direction.
But who are you to say that?
A person that cares, a person that loves you, a person that's been in your shoes and understands how it feels when we can't give our family what they truly deserve. We have to go hard. Now, give me one moment. I've been in your shoes. And when I was in your shoes, I stayed in my lane. I lived where I lived. My woman didn't work. She nurtured to the children till I got this. And I'm trying to give you the cheat code. Do what you need to do so you can feed your woman, and while she's nurturing the children, she can also nurture your dreams and your goals. Now you can be successful. Now you don't have to say, I'm working for $15. Now you can say, I got employees that I'm paying that's working for me for $15. I'm trying to elevate you, but men get so caught up in their emotions and their pride, and the first thing you want to do is feel attacked. Get the wisdom.
This is coming from a rich man.
But right now you're acting triggered. But right now you're
But this is coming from a rich man.
But how did I get here?
Yeah.
But how do I give you? And I'm giving you the steps. This is, if you put down your ego, if you put down your pride, brother, am I saying anything wrong? I'm saying men should be men.
But you saying we not men. You saying we not men.
Brother, any man that makes an excuse can't be a man completely. You can be a male. A man comes with responsibilities, and it's hard. To be a man, it's hard, brother. It's not easy. That's why the respect you want from your woman that you don't get, I get from mine.
My woman respect me.
Hold on.
My woman respect me.
You think she respects you.
My woman respect me.
You think she respects you.
Brother.
You think she has she ever raised her voice at you?
No.
Does she cook for you every night,
Of
brother?
course.
So she respects you, cooks for you every night. Does she clean the house?
Of course.
She cleans the house, and you got her working 16 hours a day. That sounds like slavery.
No, it's not.
Brother, you got her cooking every night.
I don't have her doing anything. She does it because she wants to. We in the trenches together.
The trenches together?
That's what we in.
Brother, do you know anything about emotional abuse?
Explain it.
Emotional abuse is when you pour all your hurt and pain onto a woman, and just because you can't see her scars, you think it's okay. If I had a conversation with your woman, she'll probably start crying. They tired. They not built to go through what they're going through with you. She didn't choose you to struggle.
But again, who are you to say that?
Brother, a brother that loves you. And again, I'm trying to give you the cheat code. If you put yourself in a position, right, you work. If you have to get 2 jobs, you grind, allow your woman to do what she does in the home. If you have a business idea, you have her nurture that. Hey, baby, it's going to be a little hard for the next 2 years. But if we move like this, we're going to be good. You keep saying, who am I to tell you this? A man that's been in your position. A man that has risen above your circumstances. And I'm coming back down to say, this is what you do. You're not a man until you move like this. Most males will die, never experience what it feels to be a man and to be completely respected by his women and children because he didn't step into that true king place.
Y'all better start because I can't watch fucking videos like this because I'm gonna be talking for an hour and shit. So y'all better go ahead because I got a lot to say.
I mean, I hit a brother, but I don't. Like me and my man, we don't care who do what. We just want to get it done. Like if his dishes in there and he see his dishes in there, he gonna wash the dishes. If I'm in here working and doing something or on the show and he's able to cook dinner, he gonna cook dinner. You know what I mean? And we gonna put in what we gonna put in. If either of us get to a place where we can take care of the other person, I feel like we would because that's my best friend. Like a lot of the shit that they talk about just don't matter. I guess in my household, I can't say they don't matter at all because I don't know what matter in everybody else's household. But just like some of that shit don't matter. If it get done, I'm okay. I'm sleeping at night if it get done.
It's good to hear the women saying that.
I'm like you, bro. I sit and I watch these videos like that, and it infuriates me, right? Because in one hand, you're talking about servitude, and you're saying that sounds like slavery, but in actuality, what you're describing is slavery. If I was to go ask my girl right now, you know, would you want me to do 100% in the house? She'd be like, I mean, it's cool, but I mean, I want to have a career. I don't want to be like confined to the house. I want to have a career. I want to do things that bolster my, ego, make me feel good about me. I'm like she told me one time before, I'm smart. I can do these things. I like to do these things. I don't mind doing these things. It's okay. What people have to realize is that this is not like the 1800s where women were dependent on men, right?
Because they had to be.
Because they had
not
to
even
be.
fucking like a choice.
Exactly, because they weren't allowed.
Like, I want to love like my grandma. I was like, your grandma was a slave. Stop.
It's
Right,
so silly, man.
exactly. And that's the problem, is that we don't update our mentality. We see these things that happen and I don't want to go 50-50. I don't want to do that kind of stuff like that. Okay, cool, whatever. But the actuality is, these days it doesn't necessarily work like that, because women can work. They didn't have a choice before. I like I said, I talk to my fiance about this all the time. And she's like, yeah, women used to have to sit there and deal with a man because that was the only way they could do it. So if he had outside children, he had all these other things going on, I just had to stick there and stick by his side. It wasn't so much as I'm implanting in you, and I'm building with you, and I'm planting seeds in you. It was nothing to do with that. It was all about the servitude, right? So now we're out of that. We're evolving into something different. So that old-minded way of thinking, it can't continue to exist. But we still have people who try to be proponents of it, right? On both sides, men and women. I want a girl who just gonna shut up and do what I tell them to do. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like some servitude stuff. I want a man who gonna pay for everything. Yeah, that sounds like you just don't want to work. I mean, it's a whole bunch of just vitriol that's out there about men being, not able to take care of the whole entire household. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the budget. I'm looking at, the fact that I think every American owes more than like $8 million to the Chinese government right now. Nah, I mean, it's a different time, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a different time. I mean, I like you said, man, it's definitely the combination. But my biggest problem with this video is this motherfucker over here in this Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
Bright leg Kool-Aid wearing tracksuit wearing motherfucker.
Yeah.
His biggest thing is not trying to help anybody. Is not trying to do. His biggest thing is trying to make himself feel better about himself by downing somebody else. That's his biggest fucking thing. He wants to. My brother, I'm trying to teach. What the fuck are you teaching me, nigga? You literally got lucky. Maybe you was the hardest working motherfucker on the planet, and whatever you did out of your hard work clicked somewhere where someone else's didn't click, and you made a little success. That's fucking what success is, man. Another thing that people need to remember is you don't just obtain success all the time because you're working hard. People that haven't obtained their success aren't there just because they didn't work hard enough. That's bullshit. There's motherfuckers out there who busted their ass night and day as hard as they possibly could. And you want to know something? That right button just didn't get pushed in their motherfucking life, and they just wound up working. It's what happens. It's a fucking lucky switch that you flick. It's a lucky handshake that you take, and that's what happens a lot of the times. But this guy to sit here and just try to kind of downgrade my man, who he kind of wasn't doing any best to really help himself. Because when you go engage in that bullshit, does your wife cook? Yeah, she cook. Yeah, she do everything. And then he flipped it on him and he didn't know what to say. Like, what the fuck do I say? But the thing is, you get in a relationship and you pair yourself with somebody who equally meets you. For the most part, you try at least.
Yes.
So it's like, if you need a woman who's gonna stay at home, then you better fucking go on Plenty of Fish or whatever. You got to swipe left and swipe right for stay at home. Do this. You can basically make a motherfucker now. So I'm saying, like, get those characteristics, and that's what you want to match with. But it doesn't mean that because you're not doing everything and she's got her classified role and you got yours, that you're any less of a man or she's any less of a woman.
Right.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Right. At all, but I am a full woman, but no thank you.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, okay, so this goes back to something that I hear a lot of people say. They talk about being equally yoked, right? Equally yoked has nothing to do with financial. As a matter of fact, if people understood what a yoke was, it's an old farming thing, right? A yoke is basically the part that ties onto the donkey, right? And when they talk about this in the Bible, what they're talking about with equal yoke is you have to have one side counterbalance the other side, right? Most times on a yoke, because you're tilling soil, there's one side that goes higher than the other side. and it has to be weighted enough to where it will stay in that same position. In other words, what they're saying is, if you have somebody who doesn't like to cook, you find somebody who likes to cook. If you have somebody who doesn't make the same amount of money you're making $100,000 a year, you might get with somebody who likes to cook, but may not make the same amount of money as you. Right?
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with, I gotta have them make the same amount of money as me. I gotta do this. No, you have to find someone who balances you out. That's the whole part of that
Very
equal
true.
yoke scenario, right? So if I know that I'm not good with money, then I find somebody who actually is good with money so that we can make sure that we are moving in balance.
Yeah.
That's what it's really all about.
Very
We
true,
get so
man.
caught up in the, they got to make this, they got to do the same things I do. No, you're looking for yourself in your partner. Look for somebody who's going to balance you out and fit in those missing pieces of the puzzle instead of trying to find yourself in everybody that you meet.
And respect
That be the
motherfuckers'
people that
differences too.
accuse people of
Yeah.
Them be the people that accuse people of being narcissistic, the people that's going around looking for their mirrored self in other people.
Right.
And you're demanding that they be what you've assigned them in your mind, but they are narcissistic.
That's a good
Right.
ass point right there.
Right.
That really is, though. Hey, you guys got good points, man. In this video, when I saw this video initially, in everyone's opinion, Brian, Harley, Gator, everyone's, man, opened up my mind to a different part. 'Cause I really didn't even think that deep. I looked at the video initially and I was just like, okay, my man trying to spit game, but then you got the guy on the right that's just saying, look here, I'm doing the best that I can do, and even though I'm making $15 an hour, I'm trying to support my family and make it better. And obviously, the guy on the left is being the traditional guy where he's telling him, no, don't let your lady work, and let her save all her money up and have her support you and pour into you and raise the kids if that's what she wants to do. And like I said, it's a different time and different day. But me personally, though, I got my own place though, and my fiance lives with me. And we talk about it. What you want to do. But me as the man of my house, I pay all the bills. I pay all the bills, and we got my little man, and she's here. She get food stuff, she get everything else, and we rock it and we do it together. But at the same token, as a man, just me personally, but it's not like, we living in, some traditional home rules or whatnot. It's just like, I want you to do whatever you want to do. She like crocheting, she like cooking, support her and every dream that she does and support me into podcasting. But I know, this is my house, so I'm gonna pay the bills because she was living with her mom. So I'm like, come be with me. We got a kid now. You ain't gotta pay, the bills. I'm paying the bills, and my son did too. So let's do this though. So you guys, I see where you guys were coming from, on the side of, seeing, you guys' point of view on that, which I didn't initially, think of it like that. But me, I'm not necessarily like traditional. I'm just more so. I'm going with the times, but me just in myself. If this is
Dre.
The house,
Let me jump in with you real quick because I just want to clear something up. I don't know if everybody else feels this way, but this is what I feel. When we say traditional, we're only saying that because that's like it was. The mom was able to stay home and the dad went out and worked. And, in that scenario, which I've had arguments about as well, it balances out. I mean, if you can have that either way, the dad stays home and the mom works. If you can have that balance where somebody can successfully raise the household, the children, the nurturing, all that stuff that needs to get done. And then the other person can go out and be the breadwinner and make sure that all the stuff can get paid that you need to survive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is balanced. Everything is working. It doesn't necessarily just mean traditional has to be, the man works, pays everything, and the woman's in the kitchen. That shit ain't realistic, especially now. Like we already said, it was the way it had to be because women had a lot less rights back in the day. So it had to be that way. But as long as there's balance, like Gator was saying, like as long as there's one person doing what another person's not, so all shit can get done successfully. That's what I mean, at least when I'm saying, like, you know, traditional standards, when I'm going back. Like, that guy was saying basically a man should make the thing and be able to take care of his woman. He even made the statement that, do you think your woman respect? He basically just judged that nigga's whole life.
So I'm gonna just jump in. I have a so I've been trying to formulate my thoughts. I've been listening. I understand. I would just like to throw out another perspective as well. So when I listened to the video, what I got from it was a man saying, you should not get in a relationship until you have your shit together. Why willingly bring somebody in that situation when you can work on yourself more? Granted, I get life happens. We like people, attraction happens. But I think if we all did take a step back, if you are struggling, you are going through things, whether it's school, single parent, you taking care of family, what is the motive to bring some stranger into that mix until you get to a place where you know where you're going? So when I heard that video, it wasn't about servitude. It wasn't about a woman having to stay home and a man paying bills. It was about what he said initially was he found his lane, and then he moved his wife or his girlfriend into the position to where they are now. But he stayed in his lane until he could do that. And he was still in that relationship. He didn't say he was single. He just said he stayed in his lane, which was at that point just to take care of her bills. And so to what Harley's point, I believe in the 50-50. I think that's a thing. But I would also say anybody on this call would love to be in a position where they could focus on what they wanted to do. So if you did want to be an entrepreneur, you're in a relationship, if your partner allowed you to work on that by paying bills, saying, hey, you don't got to go to work. You sit at home and you content create for 24 hours. Don't worry about nothing else. As long as if you can cook and clean, you do what you got to do, babe. However that looks. And I think that was the point of it, is at the end of the day, we thrive in relationships when we have somebody that can really support everything support us as much as they can while maintaining their self-identity. It's hard to do that when y'all both struggling to keep it a buck. Can't none of us give our all to nobody when we trying to survive. Yeah. So to me, the point of that video was, if you want to be in a relationship, be in a relationship where it's really a partnership. To what everybody's saying, it is 50-50 if that's what you want to be. But if man or woman, you want to be the provider, the head of, then make sure you with somebody that agrees to that lifestyle. And also, like, it's hard to find that in today's world, because I think a lot of us operate off of trauma. You know, a lot of us do project. A lot of us do see things, hear things, and to be like kind of just happened in this conversation, all of our reasons of why we didn't like that video came out. Not to say they're wrong or incorrect, because you're entitled to your opinion, but I think as a society we move like that all the time. So
I gotta disagree. I was trying not to, but I feel like, and I'm just saying, it's my opinion. Like I said, I'm listening intentively of what you're saying. I feel like you're taking one part of what the guy said and kind of, using that to kind of fill in the rest of the video as well. Because he clearly made it obvious that he was basically saying a man is supposed to support the woman. He even said it. And
where did he make that clear?
I mean, I don't want to play it again. No. What he said it. He stayed. I agree with you when you said, like, he said he agreed to he said he waited until, you're supposed to not put yourself in a bad situation. I did hear him say that. He did mention that in the video. But after that, he still said the reason why he was doing that, because he wasn't going to get involved with anybody, because he wanted to take care of the woman, because the woman is supposed to be taken care of. Now, what you're saying is everybody, of course, would want their 24 hours to do whatever they please. But to me, in his mentality and how he was formulating his thoughts to that man who was in this situation, nobody knows if that man was struggling. He just said he made $15 an hour. His wife,
he was in the trenches. He said they were in the trenches. That's struggling, is it not?
He said they were in the trenches together. So how do we know that he's just struggling? So actually, if you think about it, you're actually placing both of them in a situation on common ground when they already are equally yoked in their situation. But because of his placement and his ideology, he's placing them at a lower standard because, number one, they're not rich, so they shouldn't be in a relationship. Number two, they're two people that are operating on standards that should not be met by man and women. The man should take care of the woman, and the woman should take care of whatever she wants. That's what he said. He didn't even really specify taking care of the household. On
But
some
I
real
also
shit.
think
I
there's
have to
a
agree with
difference
Mr.
from
Griffin.
already being there and knowing where you're going. Helen is saying don't get in a relationship if you don't even know where you're going.
I definitely agree with that.
I think there's a difference between that, because for me, I don't date wealthy men. Wealthy men are the worst people in this world. If I'm gonna date you, I gotta catch you on a stairwell up if I'm gonna date you and love you. Because if you already there, you're gonna treat me like a commodity. And
I
I'm
agree with that shit too.
Yeah.
True. So I gotta get a man that got a little bit more struggle in him, because I gotta make sure that first of all, I have to meet you when you are still understanding who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see you come into yourself, and once you become that man, I was there, so we don't have to have this power struggle that a man that already has money will have with you when you come into his life. I've dated wealthy men and hated them. Like, you are a monster. Like, no, I'm all right. I'm about to go eat some noodles with this dude because
Just saying, man. I ain't trying to shit on nobody's situation, but I'm just saying, like, and Helen, I'm definitely not knocking your opinion. I'm just saying it too. It's communication,
At the end of the day, it's how we would have to watch that video together and revisit this conversation, because I'm just hearing we perceive that conversation two completely different ways. What you said you heard, I didn't hear. So like you said, I love a good, we go back and forth.
Yeah.
Offline, we gotta watch that video. And that's a
yeah.
conversation we'll have to have. But no, I respect it. I respect it for surely.
For real.
Okay. Gator, you have anything else?
Man, just listening to everybody right now, it started making me really think about the way that we view relationships now. Like, it really, the times really have changed. One of the things that I will say is that we always talk about submissive. Like, we want women to be submissive to us. First of all, you're not supposed to technically be submissive until you're with that person that you can submit to. But then you have to think about the fact of what is submitting. What are you submitting to? Right? If you're just submitting to the money, then that's what the relationship is going to be based on. You have to be that person has to have a plan that you're submitting to. Right? So if they have a direction, if they could be broke, they could be making, like your boy said, $14 an hour. But if he has a direction that he wants to go in, then yeah, the submission is going to be there. Like you were saying earlier about the oodles and noodles. Just because the man has money don't mean you should submit to him. You can submit to that guy who y'all having oodles and noodles together, and y'all got a plan, and y'all working together to try to get to where y'all are going.
For real.
I think the reason why we, especially as men, we get somewhat triggered by conversations like this is because when we look at just being a man in totality, it seems like the one thing that men get attacked for is not being able to, like, gift. Notice I didn't say provide. I said gift. Because most of the time when we're dealing with a lot of the women who talk about providing online, they're not talking about a man who can, provide shelter, provide protection, provide, bill money. They're talking about people who can provide them Gucci bags, can provide them red bottom shoes, can provide them, which is not provision, that's gifting. So we
if you haven't bought your own, you shouldn't be expecting nobody's son to buy you none.
Exactly. Because then you're submitting, all right. You're submitting to his money. And so you will forever be a slave to whatever he puts on the table as far as money. He can have no direction, and just like my boy said, clicked a couple of buttons and got some shit right, and has no direction for your life. So your future generations will be fucked up, but at least you got them red bottoms on.
Gosh.
So I mean,
that's fucking right. That's how it be. That's how it be, for real.
Better preach there.
Now,
that's how it be.
Seriously, like I have started to hear stories from men, like horror stories about dating women. That shit blows me. Like, I I got secondhand embarrassment, low key, because I'm like, nah, we not operating like that. I've had several men, at least 3 different men, in a similar situation, like not the same exact situation, but the premise is the same. Get blown off because a girl really, didn't understand or recognize chivalry. Like one bitch got upset because she was invited to go to like a coffee spot to meet. She got upset because he didn't ask for her number first. But they had been messaging on Instagram for like 3 weeks. I said, hey, that's not a real story. He said, Dad. I said, that's not real. Ain't no way.
Oh, yeah.
I might have left him too. I ain't gonna lie. You didn't ask for his number. What's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
I might have left too.
Are you serious?
Nowadays, dudes ask women
But
for their
that was kind
Instagram.
of weird. But I'm not
Tell
gonna
you before numbers, right?
I'm gonna just give you my
Yeah,
number.
Right.
dudes
That's
ask
what I'm
women for
saying.
their.
If you felt that man, give it to me.
That's crazy.
We complicate life though, because like we have
complicate life.
very clear vision of how things are supposed to
We
go.
definitely do. We do too. We all do. I ain't trying to hate on nobody.
Complicate life.
We all do.
When you're getting better at it, when you like chill, the thing is like you don't have to even have conversations about submission if you and your partner are both submitting to life.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
we both are very mindful. We practice mindfulness, and so we submit simultaneously to life. So in essence, we submit to the, like you said, that plan that we have for one another. Like we're just operating for the greater good. It don't matter.
Yeah,
It
for
don't
real.
matter. Okay, we need this, we need that, we need that. Whoever grab it, hey, I grabbed this while I was out. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're submitting to the plan. So
I like that shit. That's the shit I like.
That's major, what you just said, because this is one of the things I was talking to someone about the other day. It doesn't necessarily have to be the man that has the plan that has to be submitted to. The man could be, head of the household or whatever, but the woman may say, "Hey, why don't we look at some of these?" Killer Mike, perfect example of that, right? Killer Mike likes to tell this story where he wanted to buy this car, and his girl was like, "Hey, instead of buying that car, I got these rental properties that I saw. Why don't we jump on those?" And he was like, okay, that's cool. I put the money towards it, but we're submitting to the plan that you put forth. And he was like, now that's
so we're gonna always be the person
right. Right.
Me and you are laborers. So I'm gonna tell you what the plan is, and you're gonna go out and get enough money for me to put it into it, and we gonna do it, because if I'm in a nurturing home, I'm hearing directly from God what we supposed to do.
Actually,
you know what? It happens like that.
Yeah, my bad, Gator.
It does happen like that sometimes. And that's the thing. It can happen either way, And I think we get so caught up in who's supposed to lead that we forget that we're supposed to be going in a direction, right?
Yeah.
So we stay stagnant, and we just kind of like, because one of the most frustrating things about this man versus woman argument online is that this is the same argument, the same talking points that we've had for the last 10 years.
Yes.
Right. And it's
real.
just like it almost revolves and revolves and revolves. And it's like we can't get anywhere because we're so concerned about who's going to be leading, who's going to be paying all the bills, who's going to be doing that we're not repairing the relationships and moving forward to whatever, is coming up next. We go sit here for the next 5 years, and there's gonna be a viral video that's gonna come out that's gonna make the men mad, and there's gonna be a viral video that's gonna come out that's gonna make the women mad, and we gonna have a list of 10 places I can't take you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And
that shit was trash.
Yeah, and that's gonna be, but it's perpetual. Instead of fixing an issue, we would rather argue about the issue because the argument is more entertaining than the actual repair.
Especially for a show. Yeah, it's definitely more entertaining on that level. But but like you said, I mean, one thing that you guys are thinking is one more thing on this topic, like, about submitting. Like I'd even think about in my relationship, like, one of the things that I know that I can firmly say I've submitted to is like the emotional part. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to put it and shit. But like, I'm one of them motherfuckers just like everything I'm doing, like whatever, fuck that, I don't care. So I tell my kids, like, I don't care, I don't talk about this shit. But I had to learn to submit emotionally. Like, I can't always be like that. Like, and we went through a lot of processes with it. But I had to understand that this is something that I'm gonna have to submit to in a relationship. I can't lash the fuck out like I used to, and do crazy stuff and yell and go wild. Now I gotta relax and think about it and take a breath and have a little complex with myself or whatever. And just that is the foundation for building together. Not like you said, Gator, separating us and seeing who's gonna go. No, I'm gonna do what I want because that's what I am. And that's who I am. I say that shit. I ain't gonna even lie. But then she stuck with me. She was like, "No, nigga, you gonna fix this shit because we got a house to run." And I said, slowly but surely, you're that barking dog that's like, okay, well, what the fuck do I do now?
Right.
I gotta listen a little bit. And that's how it happened.
If you pour Coke into a potted plant, it's not gonna grow. The way you know that you have the right thing coming into your life and that everything is you're with the person you're supposed to be is because that water is gonna allow you to grow. Right?
Nice.
So as long as you got your water, then you can't help but grow emotionally, financially, all of those different ways. So it's just a matter of finding that person that waters you in the way that you need to be watered.
Definitely.
Gate up, man. I love that.
Yeah,
I'm about to pass the election plate because let me tell you, I'm about to pass the plate because what? What a me, baby.
I like it. I dig it, man. Great point of views. All right, before we wrap it up, man, our last topic here on Beyond 1130. A couple of weeks ago, the internet, TikTok, social media was going crazy over the interview that happened on Club Shay Shay. And I initially saw a couple of clips on TikTok, and I was like, what the hell is this? So, I went to my man channel on YouTube, Club Shay Shay, and the interview with Katt Williams, man, has everybody talking and going crazy and everything that he said. Man, I gotta go around and get everyone's opinion on this. I thought one thing that was really interesting how he went in on the movie business and having Ricky Smiley in his contract to play a dress and revealing Steve Harvey's, hair, everything about it though. Just the first 5 to 10 minutes, I just was like, damn, this nigga's serious though. He really going in though. So I got to give what you guys' thoughts on the whole Katt Williams interview.
So I've always known that Hollywood was Hollyweird, right? So I've always said, like, I want to get rich enough to be in them rooms, but not in them rooms. Like, I knew the truth of that and little bits and pieces of that, I feel, have been kind of poking out at us, especially in, like Brian said, in this day and age of social media, and everybody wants to thrive off the new currency, which is attention. And so if I know something, I want to say something so you can know that I know something. And so, I feel like we all kind of know what levels that we want to go to, and folks just got to know their levels. You know what I mean? And I think for him to get fed up and decide to say what he had to say, I'm always down for some good tea spilling. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna never turn down no tea, but
and that's just what he did.
It just opened up my eyes to be like, yeah, when you say you didn't want to be in the rooms, Denzel say you leave 10 minutes before the devil show up. Don't worry. I'm gonna be tipping out with you, Uncle. I'm good. Like, it's gonna take you longer when you don't, do those types of things. But I would rather a life like that.
Yeah. Katt Williams ran his mouth. He made a name for himself. And did he tell any lies? Maybe not. We ain't no fucking spec. We don't know. We wasn't there. We ain't even TMZ and gossip reporters and shit. We don't know.
I know he ain't run no 4-2.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I just got a problem with people talking reckless shit, yo. And I mean, I kind of had more of a harder standoff point because, like, when I heard him talking, I watched the whole interview and I listened to everything he said. And before I took my thoughts to social media, I actually did it in our group that we got, and I kind of saw what everybody's opinions were there, and we kind of had a fucking powwow for the day on the chat on that day. But I didn't want to go public with it because I didn't have enough information about the stuff that he was saying. So I kind of just formulated my ideas with my mentality of I don't fucking like hearing people just talk shit. I don't like no snitching ass shit. I don't know, maybe some leftover, ape shit from the hood or whatever. But I just don't like when somebody finds so much like joy when you're talking so much bad shit about people, man. I mean, and then people were saying like, oh, people were talking about him, and then I had to kind of go on and check out the fact check, and And people do be running their mouth and saying shit. So if he chose his time to come out and say some shit, hey man, more power to him. But I don't like all this negative shit, especially for the comedy world. You know, I appreciate Katt Williams coming out and saying, just like you said, Harley, you know, the Hollywood shit has been a long time, but you want to know something? The motherfuckers who go to that party and the pictures that they take when they at that party, just like the Epstein Island motherfuckers, Chris Tucker facing that shit now. No matter what, you were seen entering the plane. You were seen at the airport. That's all the motherfucker needs to incriminate. It doesn't matter about evidence. Doesn't matter. Nothing else. Do I think Chris Tucker was fucking people on the island? No, I definitely don't. But was he on the plane? Yup. Guilty by association. You're done. It's a wrap. Did Kevin Hart wore a dress in Saturday Night Live like fucking every other comedian, black, white, Hispanic in the planet? Because they said he didn't, and Katt Williams didn't want to. Is wearing a fucking dress in Hollywood or any kind of comedic role devastating and fucking demoralizing for the planet now? Yeah, of course. Does it mean he got fucked in his ass? No. But people want to ride the coattails and have fun with today's news. And that's where the fuck we at, bro. Anybody can come out and say anything, any fucking thing. And it could be even relevant to any bit of truth.
And if they
motherfuckers will rock.
Believe it.
Yeah. I mean, they'll believe anything. It's Hollywood. Right, you know.
But I mean, the whole thing about believe anything. I remember, like, I went to school in Mississippi, but I'm from Chicago, so I used to take the Greyhound to school. I used to tell people the most outrageous fucking stories about my life. I'm a 16-year-old mail order bride. I'm on my way from Uganda, just talking shit on the Greyhound, and people would believe me, hang on to every word that I'm saying. I'm a kid from Chicago on my way to Mississippi to go to college. But I didn't tell this man that I'm a mail order brand from Uganda, and he's sitting here talking to me about
it. Right. Listen, man.
Because it's entertaining. Sometimes the story is more entertaining than the truth, right? Yeah. The whole thing about the dresses thing, I mean, you could ask Tom Hanks if it worked for him. You know,
I mean, man, that's
how he started too. It's a prop. It's something that's low hanging fruit because it gets an easy laugh to see. Ha ha ha. Man, they've been doing that since Roman times, actually. You know, it's funny because it's a man in a dress. You know, that's really
what drag stands for.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
It is what
it is.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
drag is dressed as a girl, and that
he
comes
did
from Shakespeare.
Right. I mean, he did say a lot of reckless stuff in there. I mean, some of that was truth. Some of it was half truth. Some of it was definitely embellished. Like I said, the whole I'm running, 4-2. And if you listen to Katt Williams, he is the greatest celebrity booker in history. I told him, who would be good for that role? Brandon T. Jackson, he'll be good for that role. And next thing you know, he got cast. And it's like, man, really? This is what we're doing here?
Everything.
So, I mean, I think that it was something that people gravitated to because it was tea. And it was, it was messy. And
they did fact check some stuff too. I think
there was some stuff that was true.
He did it so intelligently that the way he formulated his sentences, the way he put the shit together, he was very careful and very structured. And he did it at the perfect time. It's the brand new fucking year. Everybody can't wait to hear some shit. And he took over. He left no room for anybody to come in. And the people that he did talk about, he definitely had some heat on him. But the Kevin Hart thing was probably like the biggest one that I feel like Kevin Hart took a lot of unnecessary heat. I feel like he took it because I never personally, still, even with all the checking shit that I've done, and I've definitely done some research at this point, I haven't heard Kevin Hart do anything before Katt Williams was talking shit about him, because this ain't the first time he was talking shit about Kevin Hart. It almost seemed like some jealousy shit when he used to talk about him back in the day. But I don't know if that's true. But whether you think he's funny or not, you did, completely fucking dismember this man's name for the fact of he wore a dress or he wanted to do something that you didn't feel was moral to you. That's his fucking business. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what he chose to do in his situation, why do you feel necessary to degrade that man for making his fucking choices? And the choices of a lot of motherfuckers, but all of a sudden Kevin Hart is the motherfucking queen of the damned when it comes to wearing dresses and shit.
Yeah,
but
I feel that you should never knock how another man feed his family. I feel that.
Right. A lot of that though a lot of that comes from the fact that we as a society like to be upset at the people that we're upset at. So one of the things that I realized a long time ago is that we will villainize people that are in a status that we can't attain.
Mm.
So we like to hear negative stuff about those people
Mhm.
in the media. Recently with the TD Jakes scenario, right?
Yeah.
It didn't matter if he did it or if he didn't do it. There were people who immediately jumped
That's
on the
honest.
bandwagon and were like, "Well, guess what? I knew something was wrong with him."
It was a wrap.
What was that? Tim Tebow back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Tim Tebow would kneel after touchdowns and he would do things that were he always was like, "Well, it's all about God and I, da, da, da." And when it looked like he might have been something outside of a fully devoted Christian, they were just jumping
It was
in
a
there,
wrap. It was a wrap
and they
for
was
that
just
nigga.
like, "Well, he da 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 da." So we like to do that, and we like to barbecue these people. You know what I'm saying? We like to
Yeah.
kill them when it seems like there's somebody that's like, flaming them out.
Mhm.
So I think that's part of the other reason that interview got so much traction.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
man.
from people, a lot of men who was like, "Man, Steve Harvey with all that, 90 days waiting stuff. Yeah, I know he ain't no good." Da, da, da. That's what I'm talking about. The Ricky Smiley stuff, and he was going at him for that. Cedric the Entertainer was like, "Hey, look, I'm good. Let him say what he gonna say. I'm about to
That
just
did
go
steal some
back
jokes
and
from the motherfucker though. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, but right now,
Steve
Yeah.
Harvey did some fucked up shit too. From Mark
here's
Curry.
the
I
thing.
ain't going front.
Yeah, but
I
here's the
love
thing.
Zeddy. He
There's
can
a
steal
difference.
jokes.
No, yeah, there's a difference between stealing jokes or appropriating content. And I mean, the way Katt Williams made it sound was like that one joke was the difference between him and $5
And
million.
$5 million. You're
And
definitely right about that. Yes.
and it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
You're right
I mean,
about that shit.
But comedians used to do that all the time. It was something where
Yeah.
they would appropriate jokes, from different people, and it would be something that they would use.
Everybody grabs from and grabs inspiration. I'm a dancer. I'm gonna grab moves from one video and maybe put it with my own
Right.
original thing and maybe flip it around. You nothing to do
Yeah.
with the sun. Everything that you done did, somebody else done before.
Right,
That's
baby.
how you did it because you saw it.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm saying we got to be fair here. It's a difference between maybe a dance. You got a couple moves that you change in the dance.
The
I definitely
whole joke,
understand
though,
that.
you right.
But you took most of the joke.
That was the whole joke.
14 words. You might have stole that shit, nigga.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is that joke
Right.
didn't cost him $5 million.
You're right about that shit. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
looking at that joke, I was like, that was one of my most least memorable jokes.
Jokes of the whole night of fucking Kim's
like,
comedy for real.
right.
Yeah.
So I think we gravitated to it because so here's the thing. We gravitated to it because it was mess. I just saw that they just released the interview with Country Wayne, right?
Yeah.
And my whole thing is how long are they going to try to recreate it?
A Katt Williams.
Because it seems like it's gonna start happening now, where all these people are gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta put some toxic tea out here about something." Like Country Wayne was so not even subliminally, just going at Jess Hilarious, on this interview. The parts that I saw, and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Yeah.
So this is gonna be
Gonna be a trend.
Publicity.
right?
But I seen a video with.
I was just watching the Country Wayne interview, and it didn't seem like he was going at Jess. He wouldn't even say her name. He kept saying "my last relationship," and then when Shannon finally brought her up, all he said was, what I heard was, he said, "You need to do something else with your career because people shouldn't be asking you about me." That's all I heard, and that's not wrong. If we broke up 5 years ago, people shouldn't be asking you about me. And Shannon didn't ask about him until it lasts like 5 minutes of the interview. The whole interview is about how he built his money up from whatever Georgia.
Oh, that's good to hear that.
And that's true, but it's the way they clipped it out.
Yeah, they definitely are pressing it because I didn't see it, but I saw that part.
And had her picture up there.
Yeah.
And talking, you know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
They go back to what you saying, Gator, about propaganda, how people had the messaging, had what they want us to feel before we watch the video.
Right.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, it was. I see it was nothing but publicity, though. To be honest with you, not Kevin Hart, Mike Epps. Mike Epps was not necessarily upset. He was jokingly talking about Kevin Hart, why you didn't mention me? You know, I got
Yeah.
some ticket sales to sell and stuff like that. So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, man, I'm pretty sure it's publicity. Everyone talking about Katt Williams, everyone going to see Katt Williams, and you
Oh,
know, that's just that right there.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, man. My girl was telling me something about it. The day that interview came out, she was like, "You know, Katt Williams' show is on Groupon," because I was looking at it before. But the day before the interview came out, his show, they were selling Groupon tickets because it wasn't doing very well, right?
Interesting.
So all of a sudden, you come out with the interview and you don't have to worry about the Groupon sales no, no more.
I personally, I don't think, I think Katt Williams is a good dude. I think that, you know, I've heard a lot of stories since this whole shit's come out, and there's a lot of people that'll come out and say, "Hey, this man, you know, he does look out for people," and I ain't taking anything away from him in that aspect. But I definitely do think this was some shit to get some attention. At least for the most part, he might be tired of people, but he definitely chose now to come out here and talk some shit. Like I said, a perfect time, perfect storm. And it did his job. Do I think we're gonna be talking about this shit until the next year when they do the recap? Oh, remember when, or the end of the year when they say, "Oh, remember when Katt Williams broke dinner?" Yeah, but we got a couple months left of this. It's already dying down, and Kevin Hart's still gonna be making movies, and Steve Harvey's still gonna be family feuding for the rest of his fucking life. And then we're gonna be moving on to the next shit or whatever.
Hey,
You know,
hey!
it's a
Don't knock
topic.
Family Feud. That's a hell of a gig.
I
man.
love Family
Hey,
Feud, bro.
Yeah, I love it.
I love Family Feud.
Yo,
For real.
hey man, this was an awesome show, man. I want to thank everyone for coming on, man. For real, Gator, Harley, Helen, and my man Brian B. You guys had great points and great points, man, throughout the show. For real. Before we wrap it up and go, man, shout this the floor is you guys, man, and letting people know what you got new coming up. Yeah, we got any shout outs or anything like that, new podcast episodes or whatever. Whoever want to go first.
I'm gonna go because I gotta feed my snake real quick. I totally forgot about that guy. I have a podcast. I don't have no new episodes coming out, but you can follow. It's Honestly Helen. Just make sure you keep supporting Dre. He is doing it big. We love that. Support. Thank you for tuning in, Dre. Thank you for having me. It was fun, and I really enjoyed this dialogue. I always enjoy being a part of conversations that are different and perspectives are shared and it's respected. So shout out to having a platform that allows for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
For sure.
I'll go next. So I am Harley Hendricks 6 on all social media platforms. My crafting company will be opening back up in February 2nd. We do all forms of handmade crafts. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the link directly to my sister and my family's business, Ganelle's Crafts. Other than that, I just hope to be back. But other than that, I had a good time. Thank y'all.
Thank you. You know you're welcome back anytime, Gator or Brian.
Sure, yeah, man. Just to jump in, check it out. Listen, you know we got the commission, baby. Got to shout it out, Dre.
Yes.
Commission's
Yes.
back this Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble, bro. We got Royal Rumble predictions. We also got Royal Rumble predictions on STR right after on Wrestle Talk Wednesdays, baby. But definitely also want you guys to check us out this Sunday because we actually have the Last Laugh Challenge, episode 2. We're going to have, I believe we got 6 players. Actually, Dre, we might actually have 4 players to a team. So if you wanted to jump back in, that would be awesome too because I think I have an uneven team right now. So if you wanted to jump back in, that would definitely be awesome as well if you got some time this weekend. But the Last Laugh Challenge was a major success. I made Dre laugh hard as shit. And I was laughing too. I had a headache after we got done. But definitely check us out this Sunday at 9 p.m. We're going to make people laugh, watch some crazy videos, and see who wins. Beeline Entertainment LLC. Go follow us. We got a lot of stuff coming out. We just broke the record books, Guinness Book of World Record for the longest live stream between me and a whole bunch of other podcasters with damn, I'm tired, man. I'm losing my track. But with Opulence Radio, opulenceradio.com, you know, with Amron Burnett. Great opportunity, great experience. A lot of great people that I met in that last weekend. We did 3 days straight on a podcast, man. 40 hours. It was incredible. But big ups to everybody. I'm really glad to work with you, Dre. This show is awesome, and I definitely will be back next week, bro.
Thank you, Harley. Gator.
Yo, what's going on? Hey, man, look, I I love Helen the fact that she has the snake. We talked about this on DM not too long ago, right? You know, because I got 3 of them downstairs myself. So but man, and I got to bring. I started to bring the boa on today but they got to eat next couple days, so they're a little army right now. Anyway, but yeah, still doing my podcast thing, man. Still co-host of the Dope Discussions podcast. Still co-host of Down 5. All that stuff. We're on hiatus on all of that. So we just kind of living life, man, because you don't want to think podcasting can burn you out sometimes. So, we just doing our thing. In the meantime, I am kind of, pushing my fragrance stuff. I'm always been into, like the different fragrances and things like that. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of fragrance reviews coming up. Scent of the day, by the way, is the Mancera Precious Oud. So yeah. Anyway,
awesome.
But yeah, Gator Ward, man. That's the tag. Gator Ward.
Hey man, that's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate you guys a lot, man. Gator, thank you for coming through on the podcast show, man. Also Harley and Helen as well, and also my guy Brian B. Like you said, commission returns this Wednesday. We definitely gonna be chatting wrestling, and also the 11:30 podcast Talk Pro Wrestling will return following the Royal Rumble. So we're gonna be diving into all of that. Episode 2 returns next Thursday right here. YouTube live on Twitch and on Facebook. So definitely make sure you tune in. And also the 11:30 podcast show returns this March. I thank everyone for tuning in, man. This was a great episode. The links are down below to everyone's social media platform. So definitely go check them out. Subscribe to their platform. Support them, support them, support them. Yo, for myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, Harley, Helen, Gator, and my guy Brian B. Until next time, we out, man. Appreciate it.